Everyone's making this exact same mistake when they're trying to get shredded. And honestly, it's the biggest reason why you keep spinning your plates and not getting anywhere. You start off strong, your motivation's high, and then with a click of a finger, something breaks and it all falls apart. Frustration then starts to kick in, and then you're back to the very start of the cycle again. And you're not alone. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 common mistakes that I've seen that people make when they're trying to get shredded. And more importantly, I'm going to give you solutions to all 5 problems. So if you're serious about dropping body fat and keeping it off without losing your mind, without losing your family life, without having to sacrifice your career, then keep watching. Now, whether you've just started dieting for the first time or you've been in this yo-yo cycling of starting and stopping, I get it. You're not the only person that's trying to lose weight, and you're not the only person that's trying to undo years of bad habits as quickly as possible. You want to see the scale weight drop right now. So the first mistake people do is they start to just slash calories and drop calories out the gate way too aggressively. They start rummaging through the cupboards and cutting out all the foods that they enjoy, and they go from eating 2,500 calories to 1,500 calories overnight. Now let's get it straight. You will lose weight, and you will lose weight very quickly. But what happens next is the thing that people don't account for. The energy crashes, the mood swings. Your training is terrible. You got no energy to do anything. You got no motivation. You've got no get up and go. You go from being disciplined to start to spiral out of control. The worst thing is now you feel like a failure, even though you probably started to lose some of the weight off the scales. What you should do, and what the fix is for this, is to start off at a small calorie deficit, something like 10 to 15%, depending on how aggressively you want to lose body fat. Most times people are eating way in excess into a calorie surplus. So even just going down to maintenance for 1 or 2 weeks can let you lose weight just from that. It also allows you to set systems, to set habits, and to put routines in place that you can follow without being absolutely starving. Your training performance will still be in a good place. Your mood will still be in a good place. And what you want to try and do, especially if you're dieting for a long time, is keep as many tools in the toolbox as possible. So if you start off going from 2,500 calories to 1,500 calories overnight, what happens in 6 weeks when your progress stalls? Are you going to drop down to 1,000? Whereas if you start on 2,500 calories, which let's say your maintenance is 2,300, and you do that for 1 or 2 weeks, you will start to lose weight already. You may lose 1, 2, even 3 kilos for some instance, with the amount of water weight that might fall off. You'll be a lot happier. You would have set habits, good habits in those 2 weeks. Your performance will be in a good place, and you would have actually dropped body fat or body weight that you can keep off. Then as the weeks follow, you just drop your calories again. You may drop another 100 or 150 calories now, which still isn't a big number. You still won't feel that much of a difference, but then scale weight will drop again going into the next week. Also, please don't indulge in these fad diets. All they're preaching and all they're doing is the exact same principle I've just told you then of calories in versus calories out. If you start doing keto, if you start doing low carbs, if you start doing whatever diet it is, intermittent fasting, all the foundation is that makes all of these things work is the calorie in versus calorie out balance. So I'm trying to get you to do it in a way that's sustainable and also in a way that's enjoyable, and you don't lose your sanity and your family life. Number 2, and one that people actually don't put a lot of effort into when they start dieting. You go and ask someone that started dieting and say, well, how much do you intend to lose? And they go, I don't know. Or what's your goal with your diet? Do you want to lose X amount of weight? And they just go, I just want to get leaner, or I just want to tone up. Well, this is like getting into a car, driving somewhere you've never been before, and not having a plan of how to get there. Now, let me tell you a story. Let's use 2 people as an example, person A and person B. Both of them start off, they're a few months in, and they both lose 15 pounds. Now, person A never had a plan, never knew how much they wanted to lose, never knew in what time frame they wanted to lose it. So what happens? They get to 15 pounds. They start to lose motivation. Progress starts to stall. Mood may start to swing. They're starting to be in the deep end of a dieting phase. Now, person A starts to have these big motivational dips, starts to really use willpower as their main source of fuel, whereas you have person B, who knew from the start that they wanted to lose 20 pounds. They knew they wanted to lose it in 12 weeks. So when they get down to 15 pounds, they're thinking in their head, well, I'm 75% done. They can then sprint through that last 5 pounds because they know that they're nearly at the end. They know that job's nearly done. They know that they can go back to some sort of maintenance or go back to some sort of a normal life for the things that they may have sacrificed. So they can sprint to the end, and it actually boosts their motivation because they know they're nearly at the end of the process. So both people have both lost the same amount of weight, but person B had a bigger reason to keep going because they knew that they were nearly at the end and they've done most of the hard work, which actually gives them more motivation. Person A stops because they never knew where they were going anyway, and they don't see how much progress they've made. They just see that they fell off, and they probably won't diet again. So set some realistic goals from the start. Set some time frame goals, set some physique goals, set some progress goals in terms of pictures and how you want to look and feel. Know exactly where you're going before you get in that vehicle and you start that journey. If you want to lose 20 pounds, cool. Break it down, reverse engineer it. In 12 weeks, I want to lose 1.5 or 2 pounds per week until I get to that 20 pound mark, and then I stop. I go into a maintenance phase. I focus more on performance. I focus more on fueling, on food, and then if I want to diet again, I can, and I make another plan. But this will keep you in the game when things get hard. Mistake number 3, the cheat meal mentality. Now you have to remember, having cheat meals, having foods that you enjoy is important. It's important for longevity. It's important for your mood. It's important for social events or eating dinner with your family. But when you're having 2, 3, 4 cheat meals every single week, you're not actually cheating. You're quitting in slow motion. You're delaying the inevitable that you will eventually stop and mentally check out. Every time you hit that reset button on a Monday, you're actually stopping all the momentum that you've made. And even mentally, in some instance, you have so much guilt that you actually stop the whole journey in total. This is exhausting and it kills consistency. So here's the fix. Change your mindset around these meals from being cheat meals to being meals that you plan to have that's off your typical plan, that is scheduled in and strategically put in there. If you want to have a burger, cool. If you want to go out for some drinks with your friends, fine. If you want to go out for food with your family, that is all good. But account for it. At the start of the week, account for it. Plan it into your meals. Make it something that you say, right, I'm going out for food on Saturday night. Can I bank some calories going into the weekend? Can I put away 200 calories every day from my nutrition plan? An extra 1,200 calories, which I can then use on that Saturday and still keep me within that calorie deficit for the week. A high calorie meal is fine. Put it in. It actually helps you mentally lock back in when it comes back to being back on plan. But if you're using it as a tool to escape from your diet, you're setting yourself up for failure. Mistake number 4, and one I've seen so commonly spread about on the internet, is people cutting out carbs completely. People vilifying carbs and making them the enemy. And the internet has probably convinced a lot of you that if you want to start to lose weight, you have to remove carbs. Now, will you lose weight fast? Yes, of course you will. Carbs holds on to a lot of water, and it's probably going to be a big factor as to why a lot of people look bloated and why a lot of people look like they've lost body fat when they've dropped carbs. And you will feel great, and you will have a immediate dopamine and immediate gratification to say that what you're doing is right. But what happens when things starts to stall? What happens when your performance in the gym isn't the best? What happens when your mood swings around your kids and your partner starts to spiral? What happens when you've got no energy to actually do the things that you enjoy to do? All that happens is you feel miserable. Your performance in the gym is crap. Your family suffers for it. And now you just look soft and flat all the time because you can't actually get a pump when you go to the gym. Now here's the fix. Keep carbs in, especially at the start of your journey and especially if you're training hard. If you're going to reduce them gradually. Most people will do well to keep carbs in, and especially if you're training hard, you want to keep the majority of your carbs for that day around your training block. And then you can start to taper off the carbs the later the day goes on. But removing them entirely is not necessary at all. And it's definitely not smart if you want to keep your muscle, because you're not going to be able to train as hard and look like you've actually been to the gym because you can't get a pump anymore. Number 5, and one that I don't know where it came from actually, to be fair, and it's probably a lot around social media again, is cutting out things like low calorie alternatives, sugar-free things, and even stuff like chewing gum that people have said is really bad for you when you diet. People tell you just drink water, and yeah, you are right, you should predominantly drink more water than any other liquid. But when you're dieting and you've restricted most other areas in your life, why would this be another battle that you choose? Why would you restrict yourself a lot more than you have to? Those diet-free drinks, sugar-free Pepsi, those low-calorie alternatives in your alcohol, these things are going to allow you to feel like you're still having a normal life, even though a large part of your life is restricted. Now that's powerful, because you're not going to feel like you're dieting. It's actually going to help you with longevity and to stay in the game long enough to get to your result. So use these things as tools. Yes, predominantly drink water. Yes, predominantly stay away from things that are overly processed. However, if it's going to help you stay in the game, if it's going to help you satisfy that craving, then do it. No, I know they're not perfectly clean, but it's going to stop you from falling off your diet. Now, I hope this video showed you that getting into really good shape and getting lean isn't just about being in a calorie deficit. There's so many other common mistakes, probably more than these 5 that people make. The goal is to make your diet fit into your life, to not feel like you're dieting, so it can be on autopilot and you can do it for longer. And if you've made any of these 5 mistakes, or all of these 5 mistakes, which I have done at some point, you're not alone and you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. Now, just as a recap, the things we've gone over and how to fix you falling off your diet again. Start with a sustainable calorie deficit. Set a clear goal and time frame to get there. Please ditch the cheat meal mentality. Keep carbs in, especially around your training window and especially if you're looking to train hard. And use low calorie alternatives to stay sane. Remember, the goal isn't just to get shredded, it's to stay shredded and keep that result for the rest of your life.